No,
Yeah, we got some stuff happening.
that's right.
We
So
got some stuff happening.
that's right. All right. Well, we're live. So welcome to another episode. Black Love Today for our sisters. hmm Our host Denise Young. What's up, black woman?
What's up? So I have to say, I'm gonna give out a shout out to myself because all these years that I was wearing braces,
Oh, you
and
finally got them off.
it's looking. I still have the bottom ones on because I got to go all the way out in the West Whisker bit, and also because I was like, listen, I just need just a little bit longer. But yeah, but I'm look. I don't always get a chance to see what they look like because I'm just not looking at myself. So when the image comes back at me, I'm like,
That's right. Indeed.
all right. I'm being silly, y'all. But listen, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody has been having a wonderful week. This week, I know that I have, how sometimes things just begin to come together and you have clarity about things and how you're moving forward and those things. So I hope the same is happening for our audience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, tonight, as usual, you came up with a hot one. I think I'm gonna enjoy this more than anybody else.
Yeah, yeah. So, I was I have this new thing that you know, I'm on Facebook. I'm a keyboard warrior, but I've discovered Reels, and I like Reels because for one thing, it's one of the most really authentic ways that we get some storytelling. Like people are very vulnerable. People want to share. They want to have somebody to talk to. So they are very authentic about telling their stories. Now we realize that there are some folks out there who are doing much more than that and they're making up things, but for the most part people share some really incredible stories.
Right.
You also, in addition to that, you also get to see people in their with their most natural reactions to things. So there was a video of a little boy getting a haircut, a little black boy, and afterwards they had lined him up and everything, and whatever that stuff that's put on it to emphasize the lining, they did it up.
Right.
So a black woman who was watching the video was like, that was cool and all, but what is that stuff, that white stuff you all put on your hair? It looks stupid. Like, I don't even understand why you do that. Like, what is that for? So a brother took that whole video of somebody getting their haircut, a little boy getting his haircut, the woman commenting on it, and then he made a video responding to her. And
Okay.
in the video, he's wearing he's using hair clipper guards. He's clamped them onto his eyelids, and he has Legos on his fingers, right, to demonstrate to mimic the eyelashes and these really long fingernails that a lot of black women today are wearing. And he's and he has this whole affectation like, yeah, I think that looks stupid too. Like, who would imagine something looking so stupid? Like, why would somebody do something so stupid? As he's trying to hold up his use his eyelids. I don't know if you have muscles in those or not, to hold up the clipper guards and these Legos that he has attached to all 10 of his fingers.
Right.
So it was hilarious, obviously, but it really made a point, and that is, black women, we're doing some things that black men do not find attractive
At
and,
all.
at all. And that wasn't the first time I've seen a video like that. I mean, I remember a couple of months ago I saw a video, and this guy, I swear it looked like a miniature dustpan that he had on, you
I
know,
saw that. I saw that.
like,
Yeah.
so when we see that that this is the response. And again, we know not everybody is having the same reaction, but I gotta admit, and for people who are doing the math, no, I have not talked to the majority of Black men in America. But my point is that we're hearing these conversations on social media. And the thing about when something hits social media, I think it's safe to say that whether we can look at it as something that is a majority held sentiment, at the very least, it has bubbled to the top of being significant enough to warrant conversation. So if
Yeah.
Black men are on social media mocking us with, a look that they think is absolutely ridiculous, and I say ridiculous because anytime you glue Legos to all 10 of your fingers and you have clipper guards taped to your eyelids, that in itself is ridiculous. So they find it very ridiculous. So then my question as a Black woman is, what are we doing?
Yeah.
If I don't, I'm old school, right? I got some time on me. And I just remember, and I mean, and this is still the case, and this is not about me out here trying to please men, but as women, we like attention.
Right.
And if we like attention and we want male attention, right? Then it seems to me that we would not be doing things that are counter to us getting positive attention.
How about that?
You know, so I'm just trying to figure out, then who are we trying to appeal to?
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I don't know.
it's a really good question, and it's a question that some of us Black men have been asking for damn near 40 years. Because in the 80s, when weaves just started going wild, well, let me start. The first time in the 80s, early 80s, when I noticed the Black women were wearing weaves, it was because a Black woman who wore a weave called it to my attention because she spent money and it looked real. So I had no idea. I had no idea. And when she told me, I was like blown away. But by like the end of the 80s, it was all in. It was wild. It was like, it had taken off. So late 80s, all through the 90s, we're hearing all of the weave jokes. There was even a parody song, the Him, Me song. They turned it to Hair, Weave, Hair, Weave. I mean,
Yeah.
1 million ways to make fun of women who were wearing weaves. So, recently when you start hearing the conversations where they're lying and making shit up, where they're starting to say crazy stuff like, well, we do this because it's what men like. Who? What men?
Right. Right.
40 years of weave jokes. Who likes that? And now the jokes are about these bat wing eyelashes. And then some of them, their replies are kind of goofy because these chicks will say, well, men still date us. Yeah, you still have breasts, booty, and vagina. So you still gonna get hit up. You got that Black woman's body. You might be looking like a fool about the head and face, but rest of it, holla. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Right.
So the logic fails so miserably. Miserably.
Yeah. It does fail. And I think, the other way that it fails is that it's when you think about Black women, and I know it's difficult sometimes for us to even remember this, right? Because we get so many negative messages about Black women and beauty and our place in that. But Black women set the standard for beauty.
Absolutely.
Right? If Black women didn't set the standard for beauty, then 95% of what they're trying, of what they have been trying to do over the years in terms of mimicking our bodies,
Lip,
they're pumping lips, stuff into their lips,
asses.
all of this, they got crimp. When white women started using crimp irons, I was like, oh shit, just
Yeah.
so, I mean, we set the standard. I mean, Bo Derek had her butt on a beach with cornrows.
In
Are
the
you?
exact pose that Cicely Tyson had
Yes, like
with the cornrows.
which So wait, I got to tell you, since you said that, I just need to digress for one moment.
Sure.
I was listening to a podcast today, and I can't, I think is it. I always forget names. I think it's Black Authority.
Okay.
And he was talking about Beyonce's new, iconic album, and how it's kind of, really backwards that this album is named Renaissance, this whole project. And the women that they have her mimicking are these white women. So she's on that horse, and that's a reference to Lady Godiva. And then the coned breasts, that's a reference to Madonna. So he's like talking about, like, how does this even make sense? Like, how do we talk about being in a renaissance, or this being a renaissance, and essentially what we are doing is mimicking them, right? So I have to, since you brought that up, I wanted to just give you another example on the other side. But Black women have been setting the standards, and so now we look up and we are following. Like, I want to know what Black woman does not have enough ass already that she has to go pay to have some. I want to, like, I want to know. And the thing about it is, I mean, and I know that all of us, we're built differently. So I don't want people like, oh, that's so stereotypical. No, I understand we're all built differently. I get that. But my point is, with something that has typically been, sort of our genetic makeup, right? We are going and we are not only spending money to do this, because I want to know how people. I have a pretty decent job, and I got bills to pay that do not allow me to put on a line item, Brazilian butt lift. It just don't work out that way.
Well, and the real concern is how psychotic you have to be to do it.
It's okay, you got the money, you done figured out how to do it, come up with it, but the health risks are, man.
Well, so back up, because you said, do you have the money? The problem is that most of them don't. They don't have the money to get it done properly. That's why they're going to Brazil. So instead of paying $15,000, they're paying $3,000 to $5,000. They're not vetting anybody.
And wait a minute, I don't even have that as a line item.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, by the time I pay a couple of people's tuition, I'm wiped out. So, and so there ain't gonna be no girls trip for me to wherever to go get the butt done and all this other stuff. So we're endangering ourselves. Yes. And again, I mean, I don't get it. And so we're now following somebody else's standards. Now, I don't want to offend anybody.
I don't care.
I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm going to say this. Some of these looks have us looking like drag queens.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
We're looking so masculine. Yeah. And so for me, I'm trying to understand what's really going on. It just feels like there's something else behind this that's driving it, and that we are so caught up in this trying to meet whatever these standards are that we are no longer creating. Right. Like, I was reading the statistics about how Black women have, basically built a beauty industry. First of all, we built it just by how much money we were spending as consumers.
That's right.
But now we have built I guess you could say an industry within an industry, because we account for 86 Black African Americans account for 86% of the ethnic products that are online. Okay, which is cool. But then what are we doing with that? We are, if we are creating products for ourselves and we are still mimicking, these weird Euro beauty standards, then something is going on, and we need to talk about it.
Well, it's pretty much the same with almost everything that Black people do. Tony Brown, noted journalist, said that there are three stages to any creation of any culture in America. Black folks create it, white people hate it, and then white people take it. But unfortunately, now there's a new phase, which is they take it. After they take it, they give it back to us and tell us this is ours. And so that's why you have some of these sisters out here literally.
And it's been bastardized.
It's been bastardized before they bring it back. Absolutely. And so that's why hip hop is trash.
Yes,
that's why, we don't really have any dances anymore.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Twerking. That's all we got.
That's all we got.
And when it came down to our sense of fashion, everybody's pulling their ass out. These dudes are out here with tight panties on and sagging. And then these women, like, I don't know where the style came from to show half your booty cheek, but literally they're out here with pants on. This ain't the Daisy Dukes. I mean, I guess kind of. But anyway, so it's wild to have half your booty cheeks out. So this isn't who we are. This came from something else that wasn't us. It's prison culture, it's stripper culture, it's prostitute culture, and a lot of it is old school gay and transvestite culture where you had masculine men dressing up like women. And so a lot of these sisters out here now, they don't look like just women with makeup. They look like masculine men who are dressing up to look like women.
Right.
And it's not sexy at all.
It's not sexy, but I want to really sort of highlight something you said about this notion, like once it's been bastardized. And then you gave a really, really important example, and that is hip hop, right? So when we look at how, and the reason why I think, one of the reasons why I think what you said is so important is because what that establishes, at the very least, is a possible pattern that we need to be taking a look at. Like, why is it that, everything that is ours, where we're setting the standard, it's taken, like you said, we create it, they hate it, they take it, they bastardize it, and they give it back to us, tell us that it's no longer ours, that it's actually theirs, and we follow it, and we're following the trash. Right. We're following this new trash ass version. Like, I think about, this idea of wearing weaves and changing hair. That's nothing new. When my aunt, God rest her soul, wore wigs all the time. But the whole idea about wearing wigs was just, having a little, just a little change, adding a little spice. This wasn't, you weren't out here trying to fool somebody, but also, more importantly, you weren't out here trying to look like Barbie's best friend, her only Black best friend. Yeah. And you turn on every news station basically that has a Black female anchor, and they all have the same weave do.
That's right.
The same. Like, no one is trying to look, authentically Black. And I know people are going to say, well, what is authentically Black? Because we come in all shades and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean when I say that. Authentically Black means anything that does not even hint at a European beauty standard. That's what I mean by authentically Black. And
Right.
so much of what we are seeing and doing looks like we are following some, again, I'll use the word weird ass European standards.
Right.
But it gets deeper than that. So we follow these standards. We claim to be appealing or want the attention of Black men, even though they say they don't want to do this. So then the question becomes, like we said earlier, well, who are we appealing to?
Right.
But then on top of that, because we don't really have an answer to that, because you said what they say is, well, Black men want this, but Black men are saying they don't.
Right.
So then, and we know, Black men are not just going to abandon Black women, because as you said, that, we still come very, nicely packaged, right? And
Exactly.
we're still women.
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed.
We're still women. But then Black women have these standards of Black men that we expect, right? In the whole time, and we're holding true to them. The whole time we are saying to Black men, well, if you need to accept me as I am. The first thing that we come out with is, well, you're shaming somebody. You're shaming somebody.
Right.
You can be, obese, and everybody, well, if he doesn't accept me the way I am, well, listen, sister, because and sisters, don't get mad at me, because I'm tipping the scales too, and I'm trying to, we working it out. So I'm not saying this in a judgment, in a judgmental way. And I need sisters to understand, and this is why I think these conversations are important. I'm not judging us, right? Because some of this stuff, I'm experiencing too. I know what it means to be, overweight. I know what it means to be struggling with hair. I don't know what my hair is going to do from day to day. I don't know. I get it. So I come to these experiences in a very authentic manner. But if we tell a man, you have to accept me the way that I am, right? Then why do we not share that or extend that same grace?
Right.
Why do we not extend that same grace? Because we're still talking about, well, he got to be 6'3". He got to be this. He got to be that. And if he's not this, then I'm not even going to. Like, it doesn't make sense. And so the over sort of arching point of it is that we are not extending to brothers that which we want them to extend to us.
Yeah. Well, and that's a whole nother conversation that I'm gonna have. I'm gonna do a whole nother live to deal with that. The fact that that's why it's so hard for us to talk because so many Black women are very, very busy telling Black men how they think and what they like.
Yeah.
So busy that they have no idea what we think and what we like because they're not listening. And that's really bad. I mean, so the clapback shouldn't be if Black men are saying we don't like that shit. The clapback shouldn't be, yeah, but you still dating and having sex with us. That's not the clapback. The clapback shouldn't exist. The response should be, I hear you. I mean, look, I like to do, we talk about numbers sometimes, but I like to do the anecdotal pieces too.
Mm-hmm.
Powerful. So I was dating this chocolate, oh my God, chocolate girl wonder. Deep, dark, beautiful, just beautiful little thing. My God. But she couldn't keep the weave out her hair. Wow. She was always doing something weaving it up. And and it was a problem for me. So one time we were about to go to a formal affair, my fraternity. So, she's all dolled up with her weave. I'm like, all right, whatever. So we go. But before we go, I sit her down and we had this whole conversation. I'm telling her how beautiful she is. Try the natural piece. Just wear your hair. So we go back. She takes the weave out, dolls her hair up, her short natural hair, which made her stunning.
I bet.
So we go, people at our table are like, oh my God, telling her how beautiful people coming by the table. They're like, oh, I didn't know it was you. Just
Yes.
stunning.
Yes.
But halfway through, she said, I got to run home. And this clown came back with the clown kit. She had put that bullshit back in her hair. And I'm just like, who are you doing? Back to your core. Who are you doing that for? Because I'm your man, dating you, people who are your friends. We're all telling you how absolutely heavenly you look with your short joint. You come back looking like a clown and wonder why people really ain't even talking to you too much. Because now they're just like, I don't even know what to say to her. And I just told her, I said, baby, you look stupid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and maybe I shouldn't have, I saw a little teardrop, but I had to be honest because you're not doing this for me. Black women who are doing a lot of this crap, they're not doing this for us. It's not about us. But yet they want a response from us that they're angry when they don't get.
I have to say, brother, I didn't, how you listen to stories and you kind of think you know where it's going. I didn't expect that. I did not expect
I
that
bet you
at
didn't.
all. I did
I bet
not.
I bet you
So,
didn't.
I had to fix my face because I was,
Yeah.
like in my head, I was like, you know,
Right. Well,
and
because it's not logical. So hey Sean Berry. Sean says, this is why I remove weaves as a service. You have to wear your own hair in my chair. What's up, Preston James? That's dope. That is powerful, Sean, for you to make that kind of decision because I mean, where does it end, man?
does it end?
Where does
Where does
it end? I
yeah.
mean, you got all of this just absolute. I mean, it doesn't even look good anymore. Like I said, back in the 80s, when I first saw it, I guess it's when it first became popular, it looked real. Like you really had to look and be like, oh, that's a weave. And that was okay. It's at the point now where the shit don't even look like real hair,
It
looks
does,
like a
yeah.
plastic hat. It's just in a knot in a nest. It's dirty. It's stank to high hell. Like what? I mean, literally, I've had to turn women away. And this is back when I was in my whole phase. Had to turn them away because the weave stunk. Like
I
it stinks.
so I have an anecdote. This was probably the second year that we were dealing with COVID. So, we're on the bus, people trying to stay away from each other, have on my mask. This woman sits, yeah, I'm on the bus, people.
Uh, well, some cities you can do that.
I'm on the bus,
Can't do that
folks.
in LA.
I got a bus pass. Ain't no shame in my game.
Hey, ain't nothing to be ashamed about.
But
Yeah.
I'm just being a little silly just to break the ice because this is a hard story to tell. But so
Yeah.
this sister sits in front of me. Now I have on my mask and she has on her mask. But what prompted me, and it was raining, what prompted me to move is that I wasn't, actually, she didn't have on a mask. What prompted me to move, because I actually, COVID was secondary in terms of, the things that I was concerned about. It was the fact that we've got to itching and she got to, and then I jumped up and moved. I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, oh no, no, no," because I
Yeah.
don't know what's getting ready to. I don't know what's getting ready to happen here. I don't know. So, and I'm not going to take a chance because then
That's right.
it didn't feel very hygienic to me.
Yeah.
And so, I think we have, and again, I'm not. This is not ragging on anybody because this stuff is real. I went to a natural hair care stylist and she stopped taking clients to your point, Miss Shone, she stopped taking clients because she said she was sitting folks in her chair and they were asking her to take out their weave because they wanted to finally go natural, but she was lifting up stuff and there was fungus. Do you understand me?
Man,
Fungus beneath that. So
man.
there are all kinds of things that are happening with these beauty standards that we follow, that we, that we attach ourselves to, that we just adapt, and that
That are
doesn't make any
harming
sense.
you. They're
They are
harming you.
bringing harm to us. This whole conversation about alopecia, which I thought was actually in many ways I just thought it was ridiculous. Just another way for Black women to say, oh, Black men need to protect us. Come on. Alopecia has everybody, has some form of alopecia. It's called getting older. Depending upon what your genetics are, there's that. And then what we didn't talk about is we have developed and alopecia that is associated with
With
weave
weed.
wearing.
That's
So there
right.
are all kinds of things happening. So this, and I get it. Menopause. I'm trying to hold on. I'm every day I'm looking at more strands. I'm like, God damn it. Menopause, all those kinds of things will contribute to hair loss. We know that. So I
Right.
don't want anybody to think that I am just so I'm not sensitive to those kinds of things, because people, there are reasons why people, legitimate reasons why people do things or why they make choices, right?
Right.
What we are
Yeah.
talking about is how collectively we are adopting beauty trends that mimic standards that we did not create and that Black men don't like.
And that don't even belong to you. I mean, you know, you're talking about alopecia that is, self stimulated. That's why, and again, the jokes come at it too. The edges. A lot of women have no edges, like literally from
Yeah,
here on down
will be
will
gone.
be gone. And so it's not about wearing a weave, or I'm gonna do this because I'm letting my hair breathe. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's not breathing. It's not breathing. It's at some point, like I said, we have to get to the point where we can be honest. Hey, Shirley Buckhalter, um, Sean says it's killing our Black women's hair, and also some can't even exist without it, and will have a head full of beautiful hair that they don't want
Yes.
to embrace. Yep, if it's a
Yes.
condition, I can understand, but to have hair and be ashamed of your own, to wear
Yes.
other cultures' hair is another story. Yeah.
Tell it, because thank you for that point. Because we're not always talking about an issue of like hair growth. As you said, there will be a head full of hair
Yeah.
underneath, and you're hiding it. And this whole thing about being queens, how you gonna be a queen? You can't even accept your crown. Like,
Ooh.
seriously, seriously.
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
I mean, like we have to do better. But
Yeah.
and now we're learning also just about, aside from what we were talking about, like hair contributing to our own hair loss, but there are other things that are happening with these various beauty trends, like all of this dyeing your hair. Now they're talking about how that is contributing. We're bleaching hair down to we I don't even, I'm scared of what has to happen if you were to take my hair and try to make it blonde. Like, do you like what you would have to do? Like, that is so
Yeah.
crazy to me. And so
Yeah.
we're talking about all of these chemicals and just the various things that we're exposing ourselves to, the crap that's in some of this makeup. The glue, I'm trying to figure out who in the world, what glue is safe to put on your eye. I don't know. Just the
Right.
idea of glue sounds
Yeah.
like it's supposed to do a lot of things. It does not sound like it's supposed to be on my eyelid. That's just
Right.
me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just me. But it doesn't. And so we have to really be we have to be honest. We got to come to a place where we can be honest about what we are doing to ourselves, how this doesn't make sense in terms of our connections with Black men, and how we then still have the audacity to say, but you can't do this and you need to do this and you need to do that. There's no balance.
That's
There's
right.
no balance. And a big part of what we are trying to express through these different conversations is balance.
Yeah.
Is balance, and we don't have it. We are so off kilter in the way that we try to connect, in the way that we don't connect, in the way that we don't even want to connect.
Don't
Because
even want to.
when you don't want to listen, when you don't want to listen, that's a bi-directional thing. If you don't want to listen to each other,
Yeah.
we can't get it together. We can't have Black love if we can't create balance.
Well, and so I don't want to continue to belabor the point on the weaves and the eyelashes, because there are other issues too, and the issues are, we talk about, we hear women say, if you say anything about my body, then it's body shaming, but
Yes.
but I can say stuff about you. I can say, you're short, right? Because women, even if they're 5'2", they want a dude over 6 feet who's,
Mm-hmm.
hit the biological lottery, over six
Mm-hmm.
feet with a six pack, you know what I mean? And got the fly hair and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but we're supposed to be okay with that. I'm 5'11", and I've had women tell me I'm short, which is psychotic
Which
because
is
the
like,
average height is like 5'8", 5'9".
right.
So to call me at 5'11" short, there's something crazy about that. But then there's the weight thing, which, we got to put our arms around it, because I'm sick of women telling me that I'm not a real Black man unless I get myself a big one. And
Oh,
if I
yeah.
don't want a big one, it's because I hate Black women.
It's because you hate Black women.
Right. So
You
I
know,
can't have a preference.
right. And that's so, and this is what I want to say about, the weight. And, because I've struggled with weight. Um, I've been struggling with weight actually, and this is true, sisters. I'm being very honest about this. I started struggling with weight the moment I got on birth control pills.
Mm,
And that's an important thing to understand, because those birth control pills are altering our bodies in so many different ways.
yeah.
So I was like 21, I was a bit of a late bloomer, I was a bit of a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Um, but that's when I first started gaining weight, because I graduated high school. I was 116 pounds.
Mm, okay.
I haven't seen 116 pounds ever again.
Right. Well, but you also have children.
And I have children.
Yeah.
And so you have and so these things happen to our bodies, right?
Right.
Then you, as a Black woman, and I heard someone say that the medical industry does to Black women what the police department does to Black men.
Mm,
And I thought that
I'm
was, I
with
had to
that.
really think about it, and I had to,
I'm
and
with
I
that.
find that it's such a very apropos um, and very profound analogy. They don't care about us, and
At
so
all.
at all. So the kinds of things that are driving us in terms of our weight, because it's not just all making poor choices, right?
Right.
In terms
Absolutely.
of food, that's a big part of it,
Yeah.
right?
But that's
It's
not all.
not, we because we're not gonna lie and say that some of us don't know about Popeye's biscuits and stuff like that. We ain't gonna lie and say that.
Yeah.
But there are so many other things that are happening that they just miss and they don't care about. And they not trying, like, you should not be, 50 plus, and that's the first time you had a doctor that said, well, let me check your thyroid.
Mm,
Like, you shouldn't have to be the one to go to the doctor saying, well, can you check this, can you check this? I didn't go to med school.
right. But you do have to self advocate,
And
because doctors don't
because
give a
they
shit.
don't care about Black women. and
Yeah.
so and so the things that are happening to our bodies, and they continue, because this thing about weight, this isn't about just, I want to love myself the way that I am. we have to do that anyway,
That's right.
regardless of what the situation is. You
No
have to
doubt.
find peace. But finding peace does not mean that we have to settle for being unhealthy, right? And
No.
that's a lot of what Black men are saying. They're
Yep.
saying, this isn't about whether or not I find you attractive, right? What I am worried about is you ain't going to be around for the long haul trying to have a relationship with you, because what your weight signifies is a bevy of health issues. That's
Yes.
what I'm talking about. When
Well,
you see brothers
yeah.
going to the gym trying to work it out,
Yeah.
yeah, they want to look good, but they
They
trying to
also want to
live.
live. Well, and that's a huge problem too. Like for me, I hear sisters who try to tell me I hate black women because my preference is not, the bigger woman. But I've dated women with some weight on them, and they weren't trying to go to the gym. In fact, they were trying to keep me from going. You dig
Mm.
me? Yeah, like, one woman that I dated, she started putting on weight. And while she's going up, I'm going down because I'm in the gym, I'm walking, I'm doing my thing. And she gets mad at me. She's like, "Oh, you must be trying to chase some little young hot bitch." I was like, "Well, you used to be a little young hot bitch." I used, I used to be a bitch.
Touche, touche.
so so bring her back, and we can
Mhm.
have fewer problems up in this joint.
Right, right,
But so I think, you get to the point where you are who you are, accept who you are, but stop. Black women have to stop being mad and attacking black men if we don't want whatever it is you're bringing to the table. If it's because you're big, or because
right,
your hair is whack, or maybe you're too skinny, maybe you ain't got no ass.
right.
Although I think a lot of brothers, and I'll say this just from, the limited perspective I have in terms of men that I know, we take a flat booty sister before we take some weird other with, some weird looking body with their 18th rib. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah, and
right, right,
those
right, right.
big giant hooters that, get in the way. I
Mhm.
mean, some brothers, that's their preference. That's cool, but
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
a lot of us, especially as we mature, especially as we get older, we prefer literally, if you got a pretty face and you're a sweetheart, we'll work with the rest of it.
Right.
We'll work, I ain't gonna lie, when I was in my 20s, man, they all had to be at least a 9. At least. That's just what
Right.
but
But that's
now,
also youth. That's
yeah,
youth.
yeah,
That's,
absolutely.
not having wisdom, not, all those kinds of things. You're still
Right.
learning about the
And it was
value
mostly
of
physical anyway.
personhood,
Yeah,
all that. Yeah.
it was mostly physical. But so at this stage in the game, it's it may look like that again. My selection process is all about, the closer to 10, simply because when I've tried to date women who are like, maybe a 5 or a 6, they're all kind of weird shit and then blaming it on me.
And
And I'm
blaming on
like,
you.
if dudes have rejected you for whatever reason, that's not me. If I'm dating you, relax.
Right.
Relax.
Right.
Stop making all this shit up. But stop doing shit that you claim is for men, and it's just not. It's
Yeah.
not.
It's not for men. It's not for men. And so then there's a responsibility on our end to be very honest and have a come to Jesus meeting with ourselves, but also
Yes.
collectively, because again, this is why we're having these conversations, because all of these things are creating a further disconnect between black men and black and the thing is, right, because we are in um, I think we're in crisis.
Oh,
I think we've
absolutely.
been in crisis for a long time.
Yes.
And I think that,
Yes.
at least 40, 50 years where, this narrative of Black women, being the savior of the Black community, this idea that Black women somehow we use our pain, to rise from the ashes, and Black men use their pain to inflict, pain on others. Like, we have been riding that narrative. So everything that we are doing today, it may seem like being, when you talk about, just being a stone's throw away. I mean, that's what it feels like. Like, it's just, you add one more thing, that's going to be the collapse. Just one
It's
more thing.
all
It
gonna
can be
fall down.
right, and you just one more thing, and it's just going to be the end. And and it feels that way to me. And so when I see Black men, because like I said, I joke about my hair, because like I said, I don't know what it's gonna do. It look kind of, it's working right now. It look all right
Yeah,
right now,
no, it's
but I
fine.
don't know. But I don't know what it's gonna do tomorrow. But what
That's
I
right.
find, what I find interesting, and it just makes me smile like the biggest Kool-Aid grin, is when I'm walking down the street and it's doing whatever it's gonna do, and a brother will say to me, "Sister, I so appreciate you wearing your natural hair."
Yes,
I'm like,
yes,
"Where?"
because we do. We
you
do.
know, where? And I don't care. And that stuff, it can swell up, it can shrink up depending upon what the weather is.
Yeah,
But I just, it gives me such a warm, fuzzy feeling to have my crown appreciated.
yes.
And because I've been natural, I've never done a weave. I'll admit that I've never done that. I've actually never done braids, only because I don't like people in my head like that. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I, I've been natural almost 20 years. So, but it's still hearing that acceptance. And
yes.
so when I see women and they're doing things that Black men are saying, no,
Don't do.
sister, I don't want. And I'm thinking to myself, but don't you want that warm fuzzy feeling when they tell you, when a
Well,
brother
not if,
tells you, like
not
that.
if, yeah, not if there's
Ooh,
a dark, musty feeling on the inside.
you know,
Then they reject everything on the outside because they're not really listening to us. You got so many sisters who are caught up in whatever the trend is. That's why now all you brothers ain't got a passport. Y'all need to travel. Shut up. What if we don't want to travel? Oh
right,
yeah, you need to go, well, on first date. We need to go to a real restaurant. We need to go to dinner. I don't do coffee dates. Well, then don't drink coffee. Stare at me because I'm beautiful. Like
right,
all of this goofy
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah,
Even the whole protector provider is new and it's a trend. We've always protected and we provide for our families. And sometimes it's even better when both of us are providing. But this whole thing, and it's women over 40 saying, oh yeah, well, I want a provider. Good luck.
uh-huh,
Good luck. See if he's got a sister. Maybe I can get a chick
right,
to provide for me. But it's just a bad situation that we're being bombarded with all of this mess that isn't about us, that we didn't ask for and we don't want. I mean, like I said, with a Black woman, so I'm gonna go back to the whole flat booty thing because I'm gonna read Sean her comment.
mhm.
I was always teased when I was younger about being small, mostly by bigger females.
Sean, sister,
All
let
right.
me tell you, that's real. That is so real, because when I did start, because when I did start to gain weight, right, I didn't I wasn't alarmed, because I was like, oh, okay, I finally got some weight on me, because other Black women, well, at that time girls, will always tease me, right?
Yeah.
They will always have something to say, about, the fact that I hadn't developed, and all of that. And and it was the same thing with my hair.
Yeah.
I actually did not get my first perm until I was 19, 18. I was almost 19 years old. And
Yeah.
I got it because I had broken up with my first boyfriend. And I was devastated. So I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna do something drastic. And I, went to go cut my hair. And the girl said, well, why you want to cut your hair? And I was like, well, I just want to change. I want to do something different because I broke up with my boyfriend, and that chick said to me, "Well, I guess he did break up with you. You walking around with this old woman nappy ass ponytail," and I was like,
Damn. Yeah.
and that's why I permed my hair,
See?
and I had a
Yeah.
perm for 12 years, something like that. And I hated every bit of it. I hated it. And then one day I decided I'm not doing this anymore. And I told my mother, cut my hair. My mother was like, I don't, she was scared. I was like, give me the scissors. And I just,
Cut it
looking all
off. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But that point about we get that feedback, I tell people all the time, and that's another conversation we have to have. One of the first people to make Black girls dislike their hair will be another Black
Another
woman,
woman. Yeah.
and it's probably her mother. Now, I wasn't in that situation, thank God,
But it
but
but it happens a
but it's
lot.
later on in life it ended up being another Black woman because nobody, no brother had ever told me I can't stand your ponytail.
Right?
They had told me that, so it was working for me.
I mean, that's just not who we are. I mean, black men by and large, we still love black women, and we
Yes.
love the things that make black women, right? Like, my high school sweetheart. My God. I mean, I'm still like in awe
Yeah.
of her beauty. I mean, this was a woman who was the color of your shirt. Like, she was, she wasn't midnight. She was probably 1 in the morning, dark,
Right on.
right?
That I love that. That's a poem.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, for real. I need to write it.
That's a poem. An ode
Yeah,
to Black womanhood. That's or
yeah,
to her specifically.
yeah. She was. I mean,
Yeah.
she was so hot. And I remember, some folks who were hating, who'd be like, "Oh, she's so dark." I'm like, fuck out of my face with that.
Yeah. You
But yeah,
silly.
like,
Go sit
yeah,
down.
she had, her strong African features, and including that black woman's ass. But yeah,
Yeah.
so for me, when I'm hearing all of this bullshit about black men hate this and they hate that, I'm like, well, get around some other black men. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Because if you are a natural black woman, there are plenty of black men who think, and that's whether you're high yellow or super midnight, or wait,
Mhm.
or like Wu Tang, French vanilla butter pecan chocolate deluxe.
That's right.
If
Right.
you rocking with who you are, whether you got a flat bud, small breast, light
Mhm.
skin, dark skin, whatever, there's some brothers that are like, ooh, let me get that.
Yes. Yes.
you
Right.
know?
Right.
And sisters, more sisters need to listen, but let's cut to the meat of it. The reason why a lot of them don't is because they already have poor self-esteem. And people need to stop blaming their self-esteem on other people. To quote the immortal poet Cat Williams, it's it's self-esteem. It's the esteem of your motherfucking self.
That's right. That's right. Well,
My man.
like the self-esteem part, when you start covering up, everything, you
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
hiding.
Yeah.
Or or you have to ask yourself, why am I adopting something that is on somebody else, meaning those Europeans,
Right.
because I'm gonna tell you, there has not there hasn't been the white woman that I've seen, nor has there been the white woman that is has been created or will be created that I think is more beautiful than me. I don't, and I'm gonna say this: I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck who she is. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, and that's not
Yeah.
because I think that I am so beautiful. What I believe about my blackness
Yeah.
is that there is something inherently, as you said earlier, heavenly. Like we have been sun kissed, right? Sun kissed, and that just for me, that's just such a sense of pride. Like
Yes.
I don't have to put my hair on rollers to get it to all I gotta do is twist it, put some water on it and twist it. You know, there are things that they have to do. We don't have to do those things,
Right. They
right?
got to put the egg, conditioner, all that
We don't
shit.
have to, right. We don't have to do those things. I
Yeah.
don't have to go and draw lips on my face, right?
Yeah.
This is not enhanced by, you know,
That's just
silicone
real.
or
It's
this
just,
is just it's right.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
embracing it is so important. We got to have those conversations with ourselves, because when you are hiding yourself, and I ain't trying to sound like no psychologist here, no therapist, but I'm old enough to know that when you are hiding yourself, you are also closing yourself off to
That's
just
right.
just a heap of wonderfulness, right?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
heap of wonderfulness.
And
But the other thing about not listening to Black men is, we talked about, this issue of self-esteem, but we also have to admit that there is something about us and this narrative that we continue to perpetuate in our conversations, in our actions, in our collective behavior, and that is we don't respect and value Black men.
and
Because if somebody else says something to us, we will feel validated,
that's
right?
right. That's right. And
When it, when it,
that's a whole nother show we're gonna have
that's a
to
whole
do
nother show.
because
We gotta put it out there.
yeah, we
We
got to put
gotta
it out there
say,
and discuss it. Yeah.
we you there is not another creature on the planet whose collective input means more to me than Black folks.
Yes. Same here. Yeah.
There's not.
Yeah. And so we need to do that whole thing with who is seeing who, because when Black women decide to ignore us, I'm in the grocery store saying hello and they look
Yes.
away, look through me. We have to understand what we're doing to each other when we
Yeah.
do that.
We
We have to understand, sisters really got to understand, you saying all these things that you want from us and you deserve them. You should get them, but you can't. Some of you sisters can't because you discount us, because you don't
yeah.
respect us. And we're waking up. A lot of brothers are now at the point where, like, you know what? You fine, but everybody having sex, I'll have sex with you and throw your ass away.
Right.
Because if you don't respect me and you don't treat me well, then I'm out of here. So that needs to be a joint we do, talking about respecting each other, because that's really holding us back. Not the
One
white
of
man, us.
one of the most recent examples I saw of how Black women dismiss or negate Black men was on a social media. It was on a thread on Facebook, actually, and a sister had posted. I don't even remember what the group was. A sister had posted, brothers, I'm curious. Tell me, what is it about Black women that you love? So
Mm.
Black men were like, okay, y'all crazy as hell, but y'all fine, y'all this, y'all that. Did
Yeah.
I say y'all crazy as hell? I can deal with the crazy,
Yes.
I
It's
can deal
all
with
the
the
other
crazy,
goodness that comes with it.
but
Well, to
hey,
the craziness to an extent.
right, but I mean, it wasn't like they were out trying to paint us as perfect, because they wanted to let us know y'all got some issues, but
Yeah.
we're willing to work through some of these issues, because
Because the
there
goodness.
is no one more beautiful than you are. There is no one that is more forgiving than you are. There is no one that
Lord
is
have mercy. Lord have
all of
mercy.
these. There's no one that is more nurturing and loving and
Yes.
more match. Like, this is what they were saying. So, as a sister, I'm reading this and I'm feeling pretty good.
Right.
And brothers are seeing other brothers say these things about sisters, and more brothers are chiming in. So it's
That's
getting good and juicy, right? It's
Yeah.
it's like a love letter.
Yes.
Then this goofy ass chick goes, well, I'm curious about why white men love us.
Start another thread, heifer, and ask them white boys.
I was like, so
That's
I was like, okay, so party pooper much? Wrong thread. And you just changed the whole dynamic of this conversation. Nobody on this thread right now gives a fuck about what white men think about us. And in doing and saying that, you just dismissed this whole love letter from black men.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
then it was a whole, then we had to go through the whole part of thank you, sister, for saying that, and then going back to her goofy ass. So it's
Yeah.
like that was just so dismissive. And we didn't regain the rhythm of that thread, because that thread could have gone on and on and on for days, for
She
weeks.
knocked off the rhythm. Yeah.
She knocked off the rhythm. So it's like, you want to know why white men love us? I don't. I don't. First of all, I don't think that they do. And if they do, even if they do, I'm not interested in that,
Yeah.
right? And so the idea that she just threw that, and it, like I said, the more than anything, forget your curiosity. It was just so dismissive of the brothers. It was so
Yeah.
disrespectful.
Yep.
It was so
Yeah.
disrespectful.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up.
Okay.
But let's cause and you know what? We need to test it one day. Maybe we'll do it on the weekend, and maybe go 2 hours. And because
Okay.
Facebook is making sure as few people as possible see my joint, and then people have to
Yeah.
catch it later. So maybe if we just stay on for a while,
Okay. Okay.
and, it'll get hotter and hotter. But yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. But let's do one and talk about the ways in which some of these sisters disrespect brothers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I believe in black love. I'm a romantic, but more than that, I want to see our people thrive. We deserve it.
Yes, we
We
need to
deserve it.
win. We need to win.
Yeah, we deserve,
Yeah.
and it's
We
not
need
with,
to.
it's not with, beyond our reach, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it's not new. We've been there before. Black
Been there
folks been
before.
loving each other through the
Who?
blues,
It's the only
man.
reason why we still here.
That's the only reason we are
Only reason
still
we
here.
still here.
That's the only reason we are still here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want us to win. I want,
Yeah.
I do this because I want us to win.
Yeah.
We
Well,
can.
we can do it,
We can do it.
and we will.
And we will.
Thank you again, sister, for another hot one.
Thank you, brother.
Yes. Yes.
Warrior, you have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you, audience.
Right.
Thank
Yeah.
you for the future listeners. We
Yeah.
appreciate you too, because we know you
Absolutely.
coming.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know it. You know it. All right, sister.
All right.
Thank you
Peace and
again.
blessings.
All right. Take care. Peace.
Peace.